What is going on, fight fans? So we have another video of more news and more information that was dropped by Esports Boxing Club. Now, it isn't a new trailer or anything like that. I don't want anyone to come in here thinking that you're going to see a new trailer, as many did from my last video, unfortunately. But there is more information that gives us more insight on what we can expect from Esports Boxing Club. Now, without any further ado, this is Edward, and you're watching Boxing Fanatico. Alright guys, so let's just jump straight into the news. So first things first, the multiple trainer of the year, Joe Gallagher, who was Ring Magazine's trainer of the year back in 2015. Also Boxing News, two-time trainer of the year. He's from the UK and he's trained people like Caleb Smith, Liam Smith, Anthony Crolla, Steven Smith, and the list goes on and on. He is very successful. His fighters become very successful, and many of them, he trains them from the moment they go pro, so he can, take in a lot of those accolades as their trainer. So he has been revealed to be in the game. I want people to understand, a lot of people are like, well, how are they getting these people right now and the game's about to come out? They're not getting these people right now. They're revealing these people right now. It's called the slow, the slow burn or the slow release. So they can have information every week to keep giving us. These people were most likely already in the roster and they're just giving us the information slowly. So it's nice to see they continue to expand on the realism and authenticity of having real trainers and fighters and judges, things like that. So it just keeps pushing the realism of the game. Now let's go on to the more exciting news, which is their interview with Josh Warrington. Now, the reason that I say that this is exciting is because when they interviewed Josh Warrington, what ended up happening is that they did a fight card for him. And the fight card was simply for Josh Warrington to guess what his ratings would be, his overall, and also, like his individual stats. The thing that caught my eye were the individual stats. These are the things that separate Fight Night from Esports Boxing Club. Now, of course, all of this is on paper. We don't know for sure until we actually play the game how good it is over Fight Night or if it's better than Fight Night. From what I'm seeing, I believe that it is better than Fight Night, hands down, just from the visual, the animations, things like that. But even this gives it even more power over Fight Night because Fight Night rated you in a very arcadish fashion. So once again, I know I loved Fight Night because it was all we had. It was still incredibly flawed because they never embraced the full simulation aspect of boxing. They always kept it in that little arcade fighting realm where there were elements of boxing in there, but really it was a crapshoot when it came to actually mimicking what boxing truly is. It failed in that department, in my opinion, while this game looks to go towards the direction of simulation. And this is why. If you look at the card for Josh Warrington, he was interviewed by Fuad, the community manager that's killing it right now, making sure that we get information posted on Twitter. So he's keeping it lively, and I 100% am appreciative of him for doing that. Keep on going, keep doing your thing, bro. But the card shows power, footwork, aggression, defense, chin, and hand speed. All of which I think maybe power, probably power and defense is in the Fight Night games. If you go to the Fight Night games, and I took a screenshot of it while I was, because I was like, wait a second, let me see what were the stats that Fight Night was giving us. I pulled it up. They got jab to the head, jab to the body, straight to the head, straight to the body. Like, give me a break. Incredibly arcadish. Like, these are the elements that game, Fight Night, built itself around. So they just made those stats. Like, we built the jab the head mechanic, jab the body mechanic, jab the straight to the face mechanic, straight to the body mechanic. So the stats that you're going to see are all of those mechanics that we built, not realistic stats like aggression or footwork. None of that. Footwork, they stayed far away from saying anything involving footwork because they know that their footwork game was non-existent. There was no footwork. You either slid to the left, slid to the right, slid back, slid forward, or you walked forward and walked back. That is it. No footwork at all. However, here, that is a highlight. Defense is a highlight. Hand speed is a highlight. Hand speed was not a highlight with Fight Night at all. At all. And it's funny because hand speed was a very basic factor in the game because it was just like an on and off switch. You either had hand speed or you didn't. You were either super slow or you were super fast. There weren't people in between that. You were either fast or slow. That's it. And they gauged that based off of your weight division. So the smaller you are, the more likely you were to be faster. And of course, if you were like Butterbean, for example, you'll be super slow. If you were Mike Tyson, you'll be super fast. Like, that's all it was. There was no gray area in terms of hand speed. Here, they are rating hand speed. So keep in mind that this is really, so this actually gives me even more hope when it comes to the gameplay, because one of the gripes that I had with the trailer, the infamous trailer that has released recently, was the hand speed. I love the footwork, but I didn't like the hand speed. The hand speed for me was a little bit on the slow side, and I would prefer it be faster. But Arturo Gatti was never notorious for fast hands. He was always, he threw he was just an average puncher in terms of speed. His rise to glory was his grit and his willingness to go through punishment to try to win. That was what Arturo Gatti was known for. But it was never for hand speed. And also it was never for defense either. So a lot of people are like, well, he's throwing punches and his hands are wide. Arturo Gatti was pretty wide. He was pretty wide open. Now, I'm not saying that this is because they're trying to make it realistic or not. But if you look at punches, for example, that Josh Warrington throws, you can see that he keeps his hand up. His hand doesn't drop the way Arturo Gatti's hand drops. So there are differences there. There's differences there that you can see in the trailer itself. Now, I definitely recommend watching the video with Fuad and Josh Warrington, as it's a funny, back and forth banter, and it's just one of the cringiest things to see a fighter try to rate himself in a game or guess what his rating is, because you're fighting your ego and the realistic expectation of what most likely your rating is going to be. It's like you want to say you're 100 for everything. You want to say I'm 100 for defense, I'm 100 for chin, I've never been rocked, or I'm 100 for my hand power. Like, even though I may not have knocked people out, I know I got power. Trust me, that's why they don't need, like, it's tough. It's tough, and I feel bad for fighters when they have to sit down and do this, but it's a fun watch. That's for sure. One thing that was disappointing of that video, though, is that we never actually saw what his actual ratings were. We just saw what his predicted ratings were, and I guess when the game comes out, we'll see what his ratings actually are. So here's all of the ratings that you can look at, all of the fighter ratings that you can look at with Fight Night. And you could tell it's game mechanic. They're rating the mechanics of the game, not actual boxing simulation ratings, like true to life ratings, things like aggression, chin, footwork, hand speed, etc. So I'm glad that these are focal points in their stat system, because that means that they're focusing on realistic things. We have to detach our brains from Fight Night. People see, because the thing with Fight Night is almost everybody punched the same with small variations. So what we see is, if we see Arturo Gatti's punching slow, we might just automatically assume that everyone will punch slow because Arturo Gatti is also punching slow. But that might not be the case, because hand speed is a variable, and an important variable in this game. So we have to take what we see with a grain of salt until we actually play the game and use all of the different characters. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I hope they release a new gameplay trailer soon. I'm hoping, since this was the Alpha Movement trailer, they released the Alpha Defense trailer, and the Alpha Punching trailer, and the Alpha Clinching trailer. Those are the trailers that I 100% want to see, if they're going to do that. I mean, we're about to enter December, and they haven't dropped that, unless they're going to plan for every week in December. They drop it right before the last week in December when they drop their early access game. just to get us super hyped going into the game, which is a possibility. I don't know. We just have to wait and see. Well, that's all I have. That's all the news that we have for today. Thank you for watching. I'm Edward, and I'm out.